Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and I am with John Fitch. It's been a while, John.
Ooh.
It's been a while. I think what 2 weeks? I think this is the longest we've gone without a podcast since we
Week
started.
and a half, week and a half.
Yeah. Well, that's right because we did a midweek one the other day because we also had some stuff come up. Or did we do a Monday one? I know the last two Mondays
Well,
we.
last week was completely off, and then we didn't miss this Monday, and
Uh-huh.
we're doing it today.
Gotcha. You're right. So yeah, you're right. I guess so. Week and a half. Still pretty long without a mixed martial mindset, especially during COVID 1984 when
Things move fast. Fascism moves fast.
it's it's sprinting like a panther cougar mix, my friend. Like this thing is in high end, and I guess we've missed some MMA. Gon looked great against Lewis. I don't think anybody can deny that. He looked technical. It kind of was a fight that was picked
I
out
mean,
for him.
Lewis, he takes damage, and then if he catches you, he's fun to watch. But is he top 10?
I think he's top 10. Is he top 5?
I think.
Is he top 5? Like, I mean, the thing is that he did get Volkov. Volkov's probably top 5. We all know that in the heavyweight division, once your number's up, there's not a lot of comebacks. You know what I'm saying? Like Dos Santos, once the Kane and Dos Santos, which was one of the biggest rivalries in the UFC of all time, it's not really talked about, right? Dos Santos picks off Kane in that first ever free Fox card when they had just signed the deal, and a lot of critics were like, this is garbage. See, this shows MMA's no good. And then Kane puts on a performance in the second fight where you just don't think that they're going to have a third fight, and then the third fight is even more brutal for Kane. And that was kind of the passing of the guard of the Dos Santos era, right? I think he's been a 500 sub 500 fighter since then. Once it was over for Kane, kind of over for Kane. You know what I mean? He had his run.
Many injuries, yeah.
Yeah.
Big guys, man. Big guys, they struggle. It's like big dogs. Once they get injured, it's hard to heal.
And I mean, you could say that DC is maybe that one exception, but they're, at some point with those Stipe fights, does he want to keep coming back? Stipe, he's never really lost it. He's lost one and then come back and not lost the second in a row. So, the problem is that they don't want to pay anybody and they're making up interim titles because although that fight was fun to watch,
Yep.
John, no reason for it to be an interim belt, right?
None.
None.
No, we know they do that. They do it because people watch. More people tune in when there's a belt.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
They make more money.
that to me was just kind of like ridiculous. And the fact that there really is no talk of John Jones until next year, yada, yada, yada. Stipe's talking about trying to get out of his contract and go somewhere
They
else.
don't care about putting on good shows. They don't care about putting on good fights. They only care about making their money. Their money's guaranteed with all the sponsorship deals, with the television deals. The money's going to be coming in. It's pro wrestling. They don't need Hulk Hogan. They just need the belt. That's it. As long as they
And-
own the belt, that's all they need to make the money.
More of these circus fights are being announced right now.
Yep.
Everybody knows that Woodley is fighting Jake Paul, but even Randy Couture threw out that he may make his MMA return against Steven Seagal today. Now, I don't know if that was a half joke, but you also have Vitor Belfort versus Oscar De La
he's
Hoya.
boxing. Oscar, Tito, and Anderson are going to box.
Absolutely. So
At
listen, guys.
195. So I called this a decade ago. If you don't allow things to be a sport, it's just going to turn into a big circus. Here we are. It's all pro wrestling now. No one cares.
And by the way, we're going to talk serious stuff here. I just want to let people know we're going to have to probably do the vast majority of this show over on Rockfin. Go make the free Rockfin account now. Follow myself. Follow John. I mean, thegruelingtruth.com is where you'll find the audio version, johnfitch.net, everything John Fitch. But really make the Rockfin account because, right now, Fitch, you're coming off the road a little bit and then off vacation. You said you're even in different counties in California.
We were went to Disneyland. First time I've been to Disneyland. Took the kids down there on Tuesday. I was worried about, what's it going to look like with Max stuff on the road. I'm here in the Bay Area, and they just started doing masks in businesses. But there's certain places where if you just walk into and you don't have it on, nobody will say anything to you.
Hmm.
You know, I've gone to the donut shop a few times, local, and like no one says anything. Other people have masks on. Nobody said anything. Nobody stopped me. Um, and we drove down, and before you get on the Grapevine, you know, driving down the 5, there's a rest area. There nobody had masks on there. I was like, okay, this is fine. It's not too crazy or nothing. Nobody seemed to be worried about it. Got into LA and Airbnb and whatever at the pool, and you know, I didn't notice people wearing masks. Went to Dave and Buster's the night before. We went to Disneyland, but that is in uh, Orange County, so it's not LA County, and nobody had a mask on in Dave and Buster's. Like I didn't even see anybody walking around outside. Like it was very non-mask oriented everywhere we went in Orange County. And I saw, you know, a few people had masks, but most of them were pulled down over their chin, or like they weren't really wearing them. I'd say, you know, 1 in 100 person had a mask on that actually covered his face.
And
But then
that's
in
felt good.
Disneyland,
Yeah.
it's in Anaheim, and I'm not sure what county that is, but yeah, I'm assuming it's not LA because, well, it might be LA County because they said that you had to wear masks when you're inside of buildings, but on the outside that you didn't have to wear masks, which most people weren't even really paying attention to. They had little workers around because you'd wait in these long lines and you'd be outside for part of it, and you have to go inside a structure for part
Uh-huh.
of it, and they'd have somebody there checking on you and tell you to put your mask on. But like I saw everybody, like they put it on for that person and they pull it down as soon as the person was gone. They'd get on the ride and they'd pull it down, and like nobody was really respecting it or cared. So that was good to see.
I guess, man. But now you know LA County has passed us. Let's see what we got in the Twitter feed over here. Let's go to the Twitter sphere. By the way, we're going to show you again. We first of all, again, this weekend, Barack Obama and his party goers figured out how to beat the Delta variant, guys, without masks. They did it. They did it. We're
Rid of
waiting.
it.
And now that Cuomo has been, I don't want to get a strike, so let's just turn that off. He's out on vacation. Chris Cuomo has also figured out how to beat the Delta variant without a mask. Watch, he's disco dancing. They're party boys now. The party boys know. How do I get to know like this? Instead, they want to mask your kids. And the new look at him. He knows. All right, woo!
All right, we did it. We beat it.
We beat
Won.
it. We
Delta
did it.
variant is gone.
This is it. No lockdowns, right? Look, bottle service. Look how happy he is. Yeah, party Chris Cuomo. Yeah. And here's the thing. He should be allowed to do that. But you can't work for a network and then have people like Anthony Fauci on. Well,
you can't shame people for it and then go and not do it yourself.
let's
You're gonna
start.
shame all these. He has business owners on who don't care, and he's going to shame them, but he doesn't need to wear a mask.
Let's get beyond the fact that his brother's a legit serial killer and they just kind of brought him down
And
for some
And a
sexual
woman
harassment.
molester.
Yeah, let's forget about that fact, okay? Let's get to the fact that even in the beginning, Chris Cuomo himself, not just, aiding and abetting his brother in mass murder by giving him media attention and making everything a joke, right, with Q-tips and all that. Forget about that. He contracted COVID, was supposed to quarantine for 14 days, like he preached to everybody else and all the experts he had, and him and Don Lemon kept saying and saying and saying again, together, arm in arm, okay? And he was caught outside of quarantine on camera, walking around his neighborhood. So he is the ultimate hypocrite that wants you enslaved. They want your kids in masks across the country. Across the country. John, tell your story. You have your kids in a private school, and what happened to you?
Yeah, it's a private school, and they're going to be putting them in masks also. I'm really not happy. I mean, it's a private school. Why it should be an optional thing? You know, they can't be mandated by the state. So why are you bowing down to this nonsense? And there's zero medical evidence to show that children would need to wear a mask at all, that they protect them in any way, or that they're at risk in any way. The flu is way more serious of a risk to children. So why weren't they wearing masks before? Matt Walsh, I think, just gave a speech. You can check Twitter. I just retweeted it. He just gave a speech at his local.
We got to be very, very careful because I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Matt Walsh, the radio show host. He said things like, "We know where you live." Afterwards,
No, well, he is this new. He gave one. I just saw it. It was just tweeted like before we came on here live, and yeah, he's just throwing out the facts. 0.00.
Whoa! We can't say, John. We're on YouTube, bro. We're fucking on YouTube. I'm not.
Yeah.
Listen.
Can't speak facts. Can't talk about.
Listen. Right now, that Mount Vernon board meeting also went viral. Went viral a couple days beforehand. I'm sure you've seen that by now. The doctor. So at first, when I first posted it, hold on, I just can't get enough of Chris Cuomo. We should just let Chris Cuomo come to all the schools and do that, and then that's it. Delta variant done. It'll be the Cuomo and Cuomo tour, right? One Cuomo can apologize for killing everybody, and the other one can disco dance, the gangster party. So, Jesus Christ. And by the way, Wall Street Journal is shilling for brain chips today. By the way, in their publication, I just want to point that out. That's some good stuff. When we're talking facts, right? Let's just bring it up. So at first, the fact checkers, and we'll play the video on the other side, and we go only to Rockfin. Thumbs the video up while you're here. Let's go to me. All right. It just said there was missing context, and there's Party Boy right there. There's the brain chipping. Let's see. Oh, by the way, there it is right there. There's the LA City Council unanimously voting for the requirements in shops and restaurants. Okay? We're actually going to get to that story too, because that's important.
Which is extremely racist.
Wait a minute.
At least vaccinated people are people of color.
All right. So here we go. Yeah. Well, you dare say that. You're a bigot, John. So it didn't even start with partly false information. The first time it said context missing, okay? So now, not only does it say partly false information, because they don't want to take it down, because this guy's an actual doctor. You haven't seen this video yet? Again, we'll play it on the other side. It went from missing context to partly false information to now there are 3 different related articles, okay? Where let's see, Indiana doctor piles on bogus COVID-19 claims in viral video. That's the headline of that. It went from missing context, and this guy, listen, again, we can't play it here. You saw that Rand Paul, I believe, right?
Yep.
Had his video up, and I played that, and I told people I can't play it on YouTube. Why? Because the next day, YouTube took it down and gave Rand Paul a strike, and he can't stream for a week. For a 3-minute video from a medical professional and an elected
medical professional and a U.S. Statesman.
Yeah, and an
elected official.
An elected
can't talk
official.
to people about it. How is that not criminal? How is that anywhere remotely okay?
It's anything but okay, and it shows you again. The techno-fascist state is here. They voted for your slavery. It's all going to be selective enforcement. It's going to be selective lockdowns.
Yep.
It's going to be selective passports. This is it. They are segregating us through medical martial law. And if you don't step up now, it's oversauce. Look, this is not getting any press. Why would it? They're focusing on Sturgis and trying to demonize them with talking points there. But the Quad Cities where I live, Mississippi Valley Fair, had a record turnout, John. I took the family. We had a great time. No problems. There was a 10,000 person concert there every night for 5 nights running. The acts included Pitbull, Shinedown, Jason Aldean. I mean, guys, wake up. The UFC is holding huge events. Lollapalooza happened. I went to go see Limp Bizkit before they canceled. And here's the thing.
Dude, Disneyland was packed. It was packed. And you're in lines for 30 minutes to an hour, and you're not 6 feet separated. You're not socially distanced. You're right on top of each other, sweating on each other. People sweating on seats and then sitting on the seats where other people sweated. It's like it's such bullshit. wake up, wake up,
And
100%. People, just wake up. Just say no. Start saying no.
and that's what he said. You know what? This is going to be a good time because I don't want to get too wild here. I'm sorry you only got 15 minutes of Mixed Martial Mindset, YouTube. But I'm living dangerously just having John Fitch talking. I'm living super dangerously over here. Just talking reality with Fitch. So if you want to see some more disco dancing, Cuomo, if you want to see some of the other crazy censorship that I'm afraid to play here, if you want to see that board meeting video, that's the first thing we're going to play on the other side, is the board meeting video that got all those contextual things and still hasn't been pulled yet, but it'll probably get pulled. And how dare he stand up for children? How dare he stand up for truth? How dare he stand up for justice in this COVID-19 84 narrative? Hey, YouTube, come